This is Portpatrick, and I'm here to share some more exciting tales of the Solway Smugglers with you. Today we're going to hear about cunning women and coastal caves. Smuggling gangs had agents in many villages and towns whose job it was to spy on the activities of the excisemen and the government troops. Here at Portpatrick, where there was a customs packet station with a permanent garrison, a local smuggling company kept two locals on their pay, a man and a woman, so that they could provide warnings about the movements of the troops. There was also a Coast Guard station at Port Logan, because this stretch of western coastline is opposite Carrickfergus in Northern Ireland. It's over there, where a lot of illicit salt was brought in from. Pan Bay, Ardwell Bay, Float Bay and Clanyard Bay were common landing points for salt smuggling into Scotland from Northern Ireland. At Moor of Genach, a man was shot and killed for carrying contraband salt from Pan Bay to Miltonese by New Luce. In one of my favourite smuggling stories, a woman named Maggie McConnell pulled some ninja-like moves on an exciseman. At Daly Bay, near Stranraer, he'd stumbled over an unguarded stash of contraband on the beach. Thinking he had got one over on the smugglers, he sent for backup and stood over the stash while waiting for it to arrive. Maggie approached him, making the most of her innocent appearance. She held out her hand daintily to him as if she expected him to kiss it in greeting. He reached out to take it. As soon as he touched her, she took a firm grip on his hand, twisted his arm up his back, and then she put him on the ground and sat on him. Finally, she used her apron like a blindfold and made sure that he was well restrained. While he begged her to release him, then threatened her for assaulting him, all to no avail. The goods on the beach were being stealthily removed. There was nothing left at all by the time she finally let him go, and he was left to explain what had happened when his backup arrived. Over by Dumfries, it was apparently actually common for gangs of up to 100 women to attack excisemen with pitchforks and clubs, but we will hear a bit more about that in the next episode. More locally, another quick-witted woman, whose name wasn't recorded, managed to hide 2 sacks of salt from overzealous excisemen who were searching her home at Mid-Ringuiney by Clachenmore. She saw them approach her house, so she ordered one of her daughters to undress and lie on top of the bags in her bed. While the lass pretended to be ill, the excisemen searched the rest of the house thoroughly, even piercing and stabbing other blankets and beds in the house to be sure that there was nothing hidden from them. But they didn't dare disturb the sick lassie, so the woman successfully kept her bags of salt from the excisemen. The Solway coastline is peppered with caves along most of its length, caves which smugglers often use to stash their goods because the tide could work to help keep the entrances to them concealed from prying eyes. At Drummahowen by Lesselt, there is a cave which gives the impression of ending in deep water, but that was deceptive. If you persevered through the water, a dry cave could be found behind it, which smugglers enlarged for their own nefarious purposes. Incidentally, Drummahowen means Ridge of the Cave in Gaelic. There is another large cave at Mull of Galloway, where the sea surges at the entrance even at low tide, and while that made it difficult and dangerous to enter, it also made it an ideal hiding place. There's another smuggler's cave in Luce Bay, whose entrance is in the face of the cliffs, and it's only wide enough for one person to enter at a time. But perhaps the most interesting cave is one sometimes known as Darkhatterick's Cave on the Ravensholl shore by Cretan. Darkhatterick was a character in Sir Walter Scott's novel Guy Mannering, who was said to have been based on the infamous Captain Hawkins. Inside the cave, it said that there were rows and rows of pigeonhole slots of just the right size for Dutch bottles. Captain Hawkins, although he was based in the Isle of Man, was actually originally Dutch.